At the transcendence level of consciousness, a person's relationship with money, service, and other human beings undergoes a profound shift. The motivations that once governed their decisions fall away, replaced by a deeper intelligence that does not arise from the mind, the ego, or any external reference point. It arises from presence itself. This video explores how those operating from higher states relate to monetization, and how they engage with those who remain anchored in fear, scarcity, and survival without being drawn into those states themselves. At the higher levels of awareness, money loses its symbolic weight. It is no longer associated with identity, self-worth, safety, or success. It becomes neutral, a form of energy that moves through systems, not something that defines them. A transcendent relationship with money contains several core characteristics. Money as an instrument of flow, not a source of security. Security is no longer sought externally. The individual's sense of stability comes from their inner alignment rather than material accumulation. Money becomes a functional tool, not an emotional anchor. Money as reciprocity, not transaction. Financial exchange is experienced as energetic completion. Giving and receiving are understood as two sides of one movement. There is no guilt in receiving and no superiority in giving. Both are expressions of balance. Monetization through alignment, not strategy. Offerings arise from what feels true, alive, and congruent. There is no pressure to create for market demand or external validation. The inner state determines what is shared, not the external world's expectations. This leads to a natural resonance where clients, customers, or beneficiaries appear without coercion, persuasion, or manipulation. Pricing without ego or fear. At lower levels, pricing is often shaped by insecurity, comparison, scarcity, or identity. At transcendence, pricing becomes neutral, intuitive, and clean. There is no inflation for status and no reduction for unworthiness. Value is recognized energetically, not emotionally. Money as stewardship. Resources are used consciously. Spending, investing, and giving are expressions of intention rather than compensation for fear. Money supports expansion, creation, service, and stability, not ego reinforcement or emotional avoidance. Absence of attachment. The transcendent individual does not cling to money nor reject it. They allow it to enter and leave with the same level of neutrality. The flow of resources is not resisted and not forced. Not all pricing is created from the same state of consciousness. Three energetic patterns shape how people set the value of their offerings: neutral pricing, undercharging from fear, and overpricing from ego. Neutral pricing is truth. Undercharging is fear. Overpricing is ego. Neutral pricing is pricing from clarity, coherence, and non-attachment. It arises when you sense the energetic value of the offering, the level of transformation it carries, the capacity it requires from you, the readiness of the field that will receive it. The price feels clean, precise, and unforced, neither inflated nor diminished. Undercharging from fear means shrinking value to avoid discomfort. People undercharge when they fear being judged, being rejected, not being worth what they offer, making others uncomfortable, claiming their full expression, surpassing their old identity, or stepping into visibility or leadership. The price is lowered to reduce internal anxiety. The energetic signature is contraction, not clarity. Overpricing from ego is the opposite polarity of fear, but it is rooted in the same insecurity. The price is used as a costume, a way to project an identity rather than reflect the true value of the work. Fear underestimates your value. Ego exaggerates your value. Clarity expresses your value. Money reveals state. It exposes the places where fear still lives beneath consciousness, and it also reveals the clarity that emerges once fear dissolves. At lower levels of awareness, people relate to money through contraction. At transcendent levels, money becomes neutral, an instrument of flow rather than a measure of survival, identity, or worth. Hoarding versus stewarding. Fear-based behavior hoards money, stockpiles resources, or clings to savings out of fear of loss, instability, or lack of trust in life. Transcendent stewardship allows resources to move intentionally, with awareness and clarity. Under-earning versus clean receiving. Undercharging minimizes your rates to avoid discomfort or rejection. Transcendence receives openly and without tension. Receiving becomes clean, balanced, and unconflicted. Receiving carries no guilt, it is simply balance. Overspending versus aligned circulation. Overspending is emotional. Transcendent circulation is intentional. Spending becomes contribution, not coping. Overworking versus effortless expression. Money is not earned through struggle at transcendence. It meets alignment, not exhaustion. Expression becomes the source, not effort. Comparison-based pricing versus intuitive pricing. Intuitive pricing emerges from truth, not comparison. Clarity replaces insecurity. Clinging to money for identity versus detaching identity from resources. In transcendence, money loses emotional charge. Money becomes functional, not personal. Avoiding money conversations versus transparent communication. Transcendent communication is clean, direct, and without emotional tone. No tension, no guilt, only clarity. Scarcity-based giving versus aligned generosity. Giving from overflow, not guilt. Aligned generosity nourishes both giver and receiver. Chasing money versus attracting through frequency. Fear chases. Coherence attracts. Your presence becomes the attractor. Emotional spending versus clarity. At transcendence, financial decisions arise from a regulated nervous system. Clarity replaces coping. Fear constricts flow. Ego distorts flow. Consciousness regulates flow. Transcendence becomes the flow. At this level, work is not separate from being. There is no internal division between service and self. All creation emerges from presence. There is no pressure to produce. The work arises from intuition, inspiration, and inner guidance. There is no manipulation or persuasion. Transcendent work attracts rather than pursues. The offering stands on its own frequency. Only those who are ready engage. Readiness determines participation, not persuasion. The transcendent being does not attempt to convert or convince. Interacting with those in fear requires neutrality, compassion, and presence. Non-judgment. They are simply earlier in their unfolding. Non-identification. You do not merge with their fear. Compassion without enmeshment. You allow their experience without absorbing it. Presence over instruction. Truth is more effective than correction. Boundaries without withdrawal. Clarity, not defensiveness. Honoring sovereignty. Growth must be self-driven. Responding without reacting. Stillness replaces conflict. At this level, money does not create identity, and other people's fear does not disrupt presence. Work becomes expression. Service becomes natural. Value becomes a shared vibration. Money becomes energy. Fear becomes understood. And presence becomes the highest contribution.